Thank you very much for your time, for doing this, sir. Let me just begin by talking about something that's been on the news recently. According to an NBC News poll done recently, the American public is concerned about the direction of the U.S. economy. What's your take? What's the state of the U.S. economy right now? Should we be concerned?
Well, we're in a major change. The economy was moving along at a 1.5–2% growth rate, and actually slowing a little bit down, headed into COVID. COVID stopped it cold. And then through fiscal response, i.e. the government programs, a ton of money went into the economy, and the rate structure was dropped. So there's this very accommodative to basically make up for the damage to the economy done by the COVID pandemic and the shutdowns and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So that created inflation. Now the Fed has to shut down the inflation, because inflation just eats away at the average American's price they pay for food or for gas or for services. So you've got to get it back in line. So the wage and inflation need to kind of grow in sync. And so that's where we are now, and we're in the middle of trying to do that. So rates have gone up significantly. So if you want to get a home, you're now going to pay 7.5% for a mortgage. You used to pay 3%. That's a significant drag on what you can buy. That's on people's minds. Our economists do not believe we're going to have a recession. They believe the Fed has done its job to tame inflation. Rates will start to come down mid-next year and out. Okay. And the economy will slow down in the middle of next year, but stay in positive growth territory.
So what you're saying is that this might be like the most difficult time, but things are going to get better next year. You don't think we'll see a recession?
Yeah, and part of that's because the consumer is relatively strong. And so think about employment. We're running unemployment at 3.7% or whatever will come out here. 4.5% unemployment is considered full employment in our country. So when unemployment's running that low, people are working, they're getting paid more. Wage growth is still 3–4%, even though it's slowed down. And over 3 years, it's much faster than that. So people have money to spend, they're working.
Now, the credit debt in credit cards is going up, right? Yeah. Is that because people are confident or because people can make ends meet?
Yes, it's a big number, but the economy is a lot bigger than it was in 2019, especially the nominal economy, without getting too technical. So the economy is a lot bigger. So, but if you look at the underlying credit card customers in our business, the credit quality is very strong. They're still paying 32% or so of the customers pay off all their credit card debt every month.
Wow, that's
which
a
means
lot.
they're in good shape.
But that means 70% are not paying on time. But that means 70% are spending more than they should and not making their ends meet.
People use credit cards to fund sort of bigger purchases and pay it out over time. But the delinquency rates in the industry and our company for credit cards and stuff are way lower than average times, let's just say. Yeah.
It seems like the American dream is like far and further away each time. The average house is about 400,000, and the rates are like 23 years, the highest in 23 years, something like that. So how can people buy a new home?
It just takes a while to get that back in line, and that's what we're in the middle of. So right now, it's tough, and that's why home sales are down. 6 months from now, a year from now, you'll see them start to come off of that, just because people get used to it and adjust.
Good. Now, let me talk about the Hispanic community. This new report shows that the purchasing power of Latinos is $3.4 trillion. So if we were a country, Latinos within the U.S. were a country, it would be the 5th largest economy. What do you think it is that makes Latinos such a driving force?
This is not new news for Bank of America. We've 35–40% of all our small business customers are Hispanic Latino business entrepreneurs. About a third of all our new accounts open are Hispanic Latinos. So, hardworking, going to work, continuing to grow their families, trying to recognize the dreams of their relatives and themselves. It's a wonderfully fast-growing, dynamic community.
You've been very outspoken about immigration. What's your position on immigration?
Well, we need in order for the economy to grow in a country to be successful, ultimately your population has to grow. The population growth rate in the United States has been declining over time because people aren't have as many kids. So the question is, I can either make kids or I can import kids. It's a pretty simple equation. So the great American way was to have people from all over the world come here to be successful. We need to keep that going. So look, we have a problem that we can't get enough workers that can do certain kinds of technical things. The construction industry just can't get enough workers. We have jobs, bring people in, get them to be part of our community, and let them be successful.
And should it be a priority to make sure we get it right?
It should be. The business community believes strongly it should be a priority. Matter of fact, everybody does, and we just got to figure it out. And it has to have all components. The word comprehensive is used, but that means border security, so that people coming in, we know who they are, naturalization of people who got here different ways, DACA and stuff like that, and then a process to citizenship that's understood and has pace to it. Work visas with pace so that people can get working fast.
I mean, since we have you here, I want to see if you can give us some advice, like very practical advice for our audience, if that's okay with you. So, what is the best tip to save money?
And only borrow when you need it to do something cathartic, like buy a home, buy a car, maybe for a kid's education, but borrow when you really have a purpose, not to just do it, because otherwise you build up the debt, and debt becomes a bigger part of your income. So one is just figure it out, and then you can keep recognizing your opportunities to keep driving that inflow up higher, and keep working hard and do it. But I think, and that's the easy advice.
So what's a leadership advice you can give our audience?
We do a deep employee survey. You have to listen to your teammates, and we do that. And sometimes what we hear back is not what we want to hear, so we go to work on it.